stuff. Oh, it's probably gonna make me retype everything again. I hope not. I hate when they do that. Why don't they just take the title and then is it gonna go live? Okay. Okay. I am so excited to be here and having this conversation. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Lesley, and I want her to share all about her background, all about her business, all about, everything. Oh, we want to know everything, but obviously we're going to keep it quite short. Lesley is a fellow business partner of ours in Solex, which is, you know, a lot of people are asking. I'm going to just preface it quickly. A lot of people have reached out to me about the video that has gone viral on X. And I wanted to do this call and do this information session with you because depending on where people live in whatever country you're in, you may not have access to get that exact specific testing done. And we have something that you can actually utilize at home. And I really wanted to hear from somebody else in the field, their experience, and a little bit of an explanation and description on how this amazing technology and Solex can actually benefit them and also aid in their understanding of their health. We'll say it like that, just to, we're not going to make any medical claims. We're not going to claim that this is going to do anything specific, but this is a good way for you to monitor yourself and your own health. And I'm going to let Lesley open up and share her story, because I think it's really important that we give her the floor to give her background and how she uses these devices in her own daily life and working on clients, because we have a powerful tool in our hands, and a lot of people don't know about this yet. So Lesley, please introduce yourself. Tell us all about you. Tell us about your practice. Tell us about, how did you come to start using these type of products for yourself and your clients? And then we'll show them a couple of really cool devices that you have hiding behind you.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me here today. This is so fun. I love coming live like this. But as you said, my name is Lesley. I am a certified holistic performance coach. So I do a lot of work with people who are looking to heal in all areas of their life, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. And I am very much use a lot of different tools in that energy realm. Right.
Right.
And I combine a lot of practical, tactical things along with the energy kinds of tools. But I have not always been, my business has not always been in the energy world. I've always been myself personally, very much into using energy and healing since I was a little kid. But 9 years ago, I started as a weight loss and wellness coach, and very much in the tactical, practical weight loss and wellness industry. And I still do that. I still have a very vibrant weight loss and wellness program, coaching business. But about 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years ago now, I was introduced to Solex through a friend of mine who had been using it, and she was using it with one of her kids who has some similar learning challenges to my
Mhm.
son. And I was watching how she was using it, and I reached out and I said, "Okay, what are you doing?" Because I didn't want to support him by putting him on any meds or anything. I wanted to support him. I didn't want him on medication. I didn't want him on those things. He didn't need any of that. He just needed some added supports in other ways. And so I reached out to her and I said, "Tell me more about what you're doing for your child." So she said, "Oh, Lesley," she said, "you're going to love that." She said, "But what you're seeing there is just the tip of the iceberg of what I'm doing." She's also an amazing energy, powerful energy healer. And she's worked with my whole family. She's worked with us for a long time, knows my kids really well. And she said, "Lesley," she said, "you're going to love this for your kids, but you're going to love it even more as you get it into your business as well." And I said, "Okay, great." But I really wasn't concerned about my business at the time. I really wanted to help my kids. So I have 3 kids. My youngest has some learning challenges, and my oldest has a very rare 1 in 10 million in pediatrics blood disorder. And she struggles with some anxiety, and she struggles with a whole lot of things that come very normally with having a chronic illness. And so she was diagnosed when she was 2. So, really supporting all 3 of my kids was my number one priority. Like, great, if I can help my business over here, that's fantastic. But that really was not my focus.
Right.
So she told me all about the AO scan. about Solex. And it really was just the AO scan at that time. We didn't have all these other fun products that I now own all of them. Um, none of that was around at that time. And so immediately, like sight unseen, I jumped in and I'm like, I need this software. I need this in my world. And I hadn't even tried an inner voice report, nothing. I was like, give it to me. And so I got it signed up, started using it, and immediately started seeing tremendous shifts in all three of my kids, in behavior, in attitude, in like thought processes, and everything. My oldest, who has the blood disorder, and her within the first probably week, 2 weeks, her anxiety was pretty much gone. By the end of the first 30 days, she no longer needed to see her therapist because she just was in so imbalance, and she loved this. And she was using it consistently. My son was a little bit more of a push because, he's a boy. I mean, he's 14 now, so he was an 11-year-old boy at the time. Like, just that was not, to get him to sit still and do any of this stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing with it, right? Um, so the results were not quite as fast with him, but consistency is key with all of this. But we really started seeing with my daughter, not only did we see the anxiety and the mental health things stabilize out, and huge improvements with those, we also started noticing the results, the differences in her blood work.
Yeah. Dr.
So
was just
yeah, so
messaging.
we started in fall of 21, and she has an annual bone marrow biopsy done in the spring. So that next spring she had it done, and her doctors called me and they said, Lesley, we don't really understand what we're looking at. I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, basically, by her numbers, if she didn't have a diagnosis, she wouldn't have a diagnosis.
Wow,
And
that's
yeah, and
incredible.
so, yes, and the only thing that we had done differently was starting to bring in the AO scan into our world. And because we know, and I know this from my energy and healing world, right? When we go out of balance, first we go out of balance energetically, then we go out of balance physically. In order to heal, first we have to come back into balance energetically, and then we can heal physically. And that's exactly what was happening. She was being really, really, really consistent because she wanted to support her anxiety, but it was bringing her back into balance energetically so her body could actually heal. Now, she has a diagnosis. She has a genetic mutation that causes her illness, but her counts were so beautiful. Like they look for mutated cells when they're doing a bone marrow biopsy on her, and she had fewer mutated cells than a normal child her age would have. Like it was really unheard of, her
Amazing.
numbers. It was phenomenal. And the cool thing is, so in the scans, you can watch those things. You can see things that are in and out of balance. So as I've learned more over the last few years, she never has a blood draw done where I don't look at her scans ahead of time because there's never a surprise. I always know exactly what's going to be because if it's out of balance, okay. If it's still energetically out of balance, then it's going to most likely still be physically out of balance.
Right.
So sometimes it can go back into balance energetically and it hasn't had time to finish healing yet, but I have a good idea.
Right.
And I love it because, first of all, it brings peace to her mind before we ever have any blood work done because I can run her scans and I can say, look, we can see here, there's never any surprises anymore. And if something's coming up, I'm looking hunky, it gives me so much information to be able to go to her doctors and say, well, what does this mean? Or can you run labs on this? Or can you check this? She's got some other stuff going on right now. And I look at it and I look at her results, on her AO scan, and I send her doctor's result questions and say, well, can you check this, and this? Because I want to see where it's showing in the blood work if I see it in the scan, which is really, really cool. And it gives us control, right? It takes the power away from their minds of thinking of whatever they're thinking in their realm, and we can see a whole lot more and then ask questions and
Right.
push the envelope and get other answers that we may not get, or at least not as quickly, if we were just relying on them, shot in the dark
Well,
of
yeah, and if you don't mind me giving an example, and many people know because I am a walking testimony, I share my story publicly, and when I did that testing, I did not intend for it to go public, obviously, the way that it did, but what I did was I was being my own health advocate. Now, I'm so grateful to Solex. I'm so grateful to Patricia and Dr. Sheila and Jillian for introducing me to the device and the software and the technology. Because I'm still learning. Like I've only been part of it for a couple months, and I've been scanning myself and checking in on my own health, and I've been able to send my report and go through it with my doctor as well, right? You guys remember, we're not making medical claims. This does not replace your doctor. This is a way for you to check in on your health and understand what's going on in your own body, and then go to the medical or professional that you need to see in order to get the help that you need. Okay, so let me just be that very clear on that. But that was the reasoning for me to join. I'm dealing with a severe spinal injury. My blood was so clotted up that I was in extreme pain. And not to mention all the EMF fields and everything that we come in contact every day. But I literally went to an MRI, and right after I did the MRI, I started feeling really horrible again. So I'm like, okay, let me scan myself, see what's going on. There's you can literally wake up in the morning, scan yourself, check in on yourself, listen to your frequencies throughout the day. If you're having a certain pain, you can listen to certain playlists. And I've never, like, I've done certain technology treatments, like the PEMF machine and certain things like that. But I didn't know that it was available to each and every one of us in the palm of our hands. Some devices are so expensive, and even to continue going for treatments, I'm on disability. I was actually going to go for spinal surgery. I canceled it recently, but having this tool and then all the other products and everything that come with it, like I feel better than I've felt in the past 10 years. Actually longer. My spinal injury was in 2010. So I literally feel amazing. So let's talk a little, let's shift the conversation a little bit about like why is it important for people to have this technology just to use on a daily basis? Like there's going to be two different people watching this video, and I just realized I didn't hit record, so hopefully I can pull this later. I just noticed. That's okay. So we're going to have two different situations. There's people that are customers looking for answers for their own health, and then there's also business owners and practitioners that are also going to see this video. So let's talk about the difference between the two and how we can help everybody using this
Yeah.
device.
Right. So I'm going to start first with the everyday user.
Yeah.
And first of all, I am a believer that everyone needs this in their hands, right? So part of what I do in my coaching is my mission is to help people become the hero in their own story.
Right.
Right. I want you to take control of your story. It shouldn't be up to me. It shouldn't be up to your doctors. It shouldn't be up to anybody else. You can be the hero in your own story. And that's literally what this scanner allows you to do. No matter where you are in your healing journey or what kind of healing you need to do, the scanner is so vast in what it can do for you. So when we started, like I said, we started with my daughter with inner voice. So inner voice reads where we are emotionally, but emotions are all tied to physical
Mhm.
and can bring it back into balance. So when somebody does that, so I used to have people who would come to me and say, "Hey, Lesley, can you run an inner voice report for me?" Sure, I can, but then you're relying on me if you're having an off day to be around and available to run you a new set of inner voice tones, right? But if I like someone, I believe that everyone should have it in their hands. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're having a rough time, maybe you had a bad dream, maybe you're tossing and turning, whatever, you can run yourself some new inner voice right then and there, and in 60 seconds have new tones up to date, exactly where you are, matching exactly where you are energetically in the moment.
Right.
I've got this cough, and the other night I was laying in bed and couldn't stop coughing, and I grabbed my thing, ran myself some new tones, put in my new inner voice that were right there, right exactly where I was energetically. And I pulled out my transducers. My transducers aren't in here. They're showing
I
up.
have the little headphones too. I love them.
Yep. So, and the transducers, which are the small, the AO tune transducers that are like tuning forks, right? And I turn that on. I'm listening to my inner voice tones and I turn on the transducers and start using the tuning forks and I'm holding them on my chest to stop the coughing and on my throat, right? While I'm laying in bed, right? I now have this in my hands. My husband's asleep next to me, right? And doesn't even know that any of this is going on, right? And I can take care of myself and I can settle it down and I can, I ended up coming in and you can see my mat behind me and ended up sleeping on my mat because my body needed some of that, the PEMF to totally settle it. But I have this, right? So I had the inner voice, I had the AO tune, I could turn on Cephes, right? I can do all of those things that I'm in control and I don't need someone else to do it for me. I've
Right.
had plenty of clients who have come to me and said, "Can you scan myself? Can you scan me? Can you scan my husband? Can you scan or can you send Cephes for us?" And yeah, I can, and I'm happy to, but I want you to be doing it for yourself. And so
Right.
that's why I really believe that everybody needs this in their hands because we can then become the hero in our own story, right? There's so many aspects to this software, so many different things that you can do depending on your level of need and want and how, what you know how to do. But even if you come in and use my favorite two sections in it are inner voice and mind sync. If you use inner voice and mind sync daily, you're going to change your life. I promise you. 3 to 6 months of using that consistently, you're not going to recognize yourself anymore in a good way, right? Because your body will heal, your mind will heal, everything will begin to heal. And so I challenge people all the time. Give it 3 months. Like use
Yeah.
it consistently for 3 months. Those two components, even if you learn nothing else in the software, those two components your life will transform. So that's my
I
big
love
thing
that.
on
I
a
love that.
personal note, right? Like, kids can do this. All three of my kids have this installed on their phones. They know how to do it on their phones. They can do it on their iPads. They can do it on their computer, right? So I have kids that I work with that have this in their phones that if they're having a tough time at school, they can pull it out and run themselves some new quick inner voice and pop in some headphones, settle themselves. I
Yeah.
have a little girl who's in second grade who her mother runs them for her first thing every morning, and she takes her iPad in and she leaves it in the office because she can't have it in class with her. But when she's having a rough time, she knows she can go down to the office and sit in her guidance counselor's office with her tones from that morning.
Oh my goodness, that's
I
amazing.
mean, it just totally changed this kid's life, right? Instead of like throwing meds at these kids, I mean, I could go on and on and on
Yeah.
why the user needs it in their hands, right?
And this is
We
for everybody. Like it doesn't matter if you're dealing with health challenges or
mm,
not. This
mm,
is literally like I've noticed a major shift in my not only my energy but in my mindset because now, you know, if I'm like as an example, I did my MRI for my neck. Like I do my scan, it shows all the same things as the MRI just did, but it's going to take me 6 to 8 months to get into the specialist. So
right,
I can listen to the frequencies until I am able to get to my specialist and go for medical assessment, but I have a tool in my hand which I can actually check in on my body, which is like I didn't even know this technology existed. Like everybody's seen me going for that test, and everybody's asking where they can get this test done, but it's not available to everybody, and it's very expensive. So this can also assist with you learning about certain things with your health. It's not going to diagnose you, but it's going to allow you to check in and say, oh yeah, maybe I do feel this. Oh yeah, maybe my knee is feeling pain. Or maybe like I scanned my mom and it showed her torn meniscus as an example. When she went to the hospital, they didn't even realize she had a torn meniscus until we did her scan.
right. Yep. Well, and it's putting your body back into balance. So it's going to help you heal faster.
Right.
So, my mom, when I first started with this, okay, fall of 2021, and I literally had the device, the software in my hands for a week. And my mom, we were visiting, it was Thanksgiving, and my mom fell
Yeah.
and she cracked 3 ribs. And we took her to urgent care on Thanksgiving Day, which you don't ever want to go to, if you don't have
Oh,
to go to the hospital on Thanksgiving Day.
no.
Right. So my sister took her to urgent care on Thanksgiving Day, and they saw that she had cracked 3 ribs, and they saw that she had internal bleeding on her liver. And we knew she had a benign cyst on her liver. They didn't know whether she had ruptured the cyst or whether the cracked ribs had severed her liver. So they rushed her down to the trauma hospital, not where you want to be on Thanksgiving Day. And I
Oh,
literally had had this for a week. And I just turn on Cephis. I just start throwing all the energy at her that I possibly could because I had no clue what I was doing. I was just totally making this up as I was going along. And I started throwing all this energy at her, but I'm like, because it can't hurt. It's just energy. So if your
right.
body doesn't want it, it's going to push it away. That's the cool thing about this is you cannot harm anybody with this. Right. So I just started sending energy at her. I had her listening to her voice and I was sending Cephis to her. And by the time the trauma care doctor got to her that afternoon, there was zero sign of internal bleeding. Nothing, right? She still had three cracked ribs, but there was no, they were talking about surgery and this and that, all this stuff when she got down there. No sign of internal bleeding. Well, why? Because I was sending her the energy that gave her body, put her body back into balance so it could heal itself really quickly. Liver can heal really fast.
That's so
So
cool.
it was, and at that point, my entire family was like, okay, we're in, right? But I've seen this over and over and over. Something that's quick and acute will heal very, very quickly with this.
Right.
Things that
I'm
are longer
refreshing.
term, but
Mhm.
and her cracked ribs, she still had three cracked ribs, but they healed. I can guarantee they healed faster than they ever would have had we not been sending energy to her. And I have another client who fell and broke her arm. She's almost 80. She fell and broke her arm back at the end of the summer. And she has the scanner. She was using the scanner. I was doing some other energy work that I do on her. She had a couple of other people that were doing energy work on her, and they were talking surgery. They were talking all this stuff. And after 3 weeks of being immobilized, she called her doctor and she said, I have to move my arm. And the doctor's like, no, you're still 2 weeks away from us being able to immobilize it. She's like, no, no, I'm telling you, I have to move my arm. I need to come in today. So she went into and they took it off and they moved her arm and they did an x-ray and they said, we've never seen somebody, especially her age, heal this quickly. They're like, this is remarkable. You're ready for PT and you don't need surgery, right? So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I can tell you all kinds of stories like this that,
Right.
because energy, when we get our bodies back into balance energetically, our bodies know what to do and how to heal them, heal themselves.
Yeah.
So it was, and she was not just using the scanner. She was using the scanner. She uses a scanner every day. And we had some specific targeted things done in the Cephis and listening to the inner voice and doing some things. And like I said, I was doing other energy work on her. She had some other people doing some other energy work, but energy is energy,
Right.
right? So it's all the ways we were tapping into the energy. It
Yeah,
was
and
really powerful.
I'd love to actually make a note on that too because you know when I first started using the scanner and using this device and tool on myself, I'd never intended to use it on other people. And then once I started realizing what it was, and for anybody that wants more information, at 7 p.m. tonight, we're actually doing a call specifically about this scanner, specifically privately in my group. So this is just an information session so you can understand how this technology works and how it can help you and assist you in your daily life. But as an example, I had just done my MRI. I came home, I was feeling so horrible. And then Patricia keeps telling me, use a Cephi, use the Cephi. I didn't even know what Cephi was at that point. And it's Cephi stands for subtile. Okay,
Subtle energy frequency imprinter.
so yeah, so and then I'm learning all about this, and then she's like, just broadcast to yourself, and I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? I haven't gotten through that part of the training yet. Like, what's going on here? Tell me what to do. So then she showed me how I could discover the already set up playlists. So I found one which was neck, back, and pain or something like that. I can't remember the exact one right now. So I brought my computer out to the couch, put it next to me, and I just started playing it. And I'm like, I was sitting on the couch and my mom's like, what was that? My neck cracked in two or three places and my whole body started to get warm. It literally was like helping the blood flow and the circulation in my body just by listening to the frequencies. And I just think it's the coolest technology that I've ever seen. I've done a couple treatments before with going to places you have to pay to be there. Like, it gets to be quite expensive for people that are dealing with a lot of health issues. It's these types of treatments to go to a professional is not always accessible. And I am one of them. I'm on permanent disability waiting for spinal surgery when I found this technology, and I'm still trying to understand all of it, but I get onto the weekly calls, I learn about all the stuff, and it's just amazing what this technology can do for people. Like, you
Yep.
don't even have to pay to go for to lay on a pen mat because we literally have them. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And so let's shift the focus to what does this mean as a business owner? What the people that work on clients that are looking at this video, because that's
Yeah,
a totally
absolutely.
different conversation rather than your personal use, rather than working on clients. And how to have
Right.
you brought this into your practice?
Right. So I brought this in when I first started, I was not going to bring this into my practice, right? I had a very good weight loss and wellness business going on over here. And I was not looking to change my business. My business has totally changed. Spoiler alert, right? Like very much. Even my weight loss and wellness practice, I've launched a whole new weight loss and wellness program that I use the scanner with. Um, right, that I now call energetic eating. It's a whole totally different program that I'm now, the other, you can still do the other with me if you want tactical, practical, that kind of stuff, but we're going down the road. So I actually started quietly when I first started doing this after I started noticing what was happening with my kids and how they were shifting. And I started quietly whispering to some of my clients, some of my weight loss and wellness clients, hey, will you be willing to try this and see how it changes what it changes for you or what you think or just and every single one of them that I quietly introduced it to fell in love with it, and they all started using it because if they were actually using it, they noticed a big difference. They noticed they were more successful in their weight loss program. They noticed they were more successful in their businesses if they were running businesses. They noticed their relationships were starting to change, right? All the things. And so that was how I started putting it in my business, was just sort of quietly, not intentionally, but these were
Right.
people that I had been working with for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so as a practitioner, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You don't ever have to sell the software if you don't want to. You can have people pay, you can run scans on people and
Yep.
you can have them pay you for the scans and you can use it to help support you. I actually work with somebody who that's exactly what she does. Is she actually gotten started with it because I was working with her. She was my practitioner, and I ran a scan on myself and sent it to her. And I said, "Hey, while you're doing this, because she does some muscle testing to figure her business is that she muscle tests to figure out what supplements you need."
Right.
And so I sent her my reports and said, "Hey, maybe this will help because muscle testing is only as good as the questions you ask." And so that's one thing. Anybody out there that's a muscle tester to understand that and know that. I mean, I'm a big muscle tester, but it's only as good as the questions you ask. But this opened up all the questions that she could ask different questions because she'd ask one set of questions and she'd get yes, she'd get whatever she'd get, and then she'd look at my scan and she'd tweak how she'd ask the question and she'd start to get better answers because she was asking off of what my body energetically was showing in different places, right? And it was helping her connect the dots. And so and it was after, working with her for 2 weeks where I would send her my reports that all of a sudden she's like, okay, I need this for all my clients.
Right.
Um, so, she does now have clients sign up and get the software themselves, but not everybody. She uses it with all of them
Right.
because she will scan them because helps her ask better questions in what she's trying to do. Um, so that's it, and I
That's
have,
so cool.
you know, yeah, it's super cool. Um, so there's so many different ways as a practitioner you can use this because you can use it where you can build a business where you're signing people up and getting them to use the software and teaching them how to use the software, which is phenomenal. But you can also never, ever, ever have to sell a piece of software if you don't want to. You
Right.
can just use it in your own office and run scans for people, and they can come in once a week and get a new inner voice that they listen to for the course of the week, and they'll
Right.
have great results. Um, so it's really powerful. Again, I go back to I like everybody to have it in their hands
Yes.
because it's not just about getting healthy either that way. Like as a mom of 3 kids, right? The Sethies, if I have a kid who's having a really rough time, I have my inner peace and tranquility playlist. It's like magic in my house, right? If somebody's having a temper tantrum. or a meltdown or whatever, I just turn on that playlist, and in under a minute, whoever's having a tough time, zoop, totally settled, right?
That that's
It's
cool.
it's so cool. You know, I can be out someplace. We were out New Year's Eve, and my daughter wasn't feeling great. My one that has the chronic illness, she was having some dizziness and whatever else. And we live in Orlando and we're big Disney people. We were at Disney, and she was feeling a little dizzy. And I said, "You want some Ceffis?" And she said, "Yes, please." And I went in and turned on her dizziness playlist. And within 10 minutes, she was like, "I feel fine." Right. So
Mm,
it gives us something in our hands,
right.
you know, and it's like I said, as a mom, I love it because I can, especially when it's emotional things like, you know, in my inner peace and tranquility playlist, um, I can settle things and I don't even have to be there. There have been so many times that I have been not home and I've gotten a call and somebody's in a bad mood or whatever, and just wherever I am, I turn on that Seffi playlist and it can be settled. My kids all know how to do that for one another.
That's
Um,
the coolest
yeah.
thing I've ever heard. Like
Yeah.
we haven't taken a deep dive on like the utilization of this tool with children. I know my business partner Steph has a couple kids as well, and I don't think she's actually started to use this. I know she's been scanning herself, but I don't know if she scanned her kids. I know she scanned her husband, but we'll have to see because I think that should be obviously maybe we could do a special training on how you utilize that specifically with your children. And like we had our first get together here just before the holidays, and we had Patricia and things come down to the house to my house here because we all live in the same area, and she brought me all these little stickers, and I'm just learning and playing around with actually imprinting the frequencies into the dots. And it was funny because by the
Yep.
end of the night we all had them in the middle of our foreheads and all over our bodies and like wherever it tells you to put the dot once you get scanned. So it was pretty funny because it
Right.
seemed like almost all of us needed some youth and they were all on our forehead. But it's just such a cool thing. And you can also imprint frequencies into other things as well, right? So
Yep, you can imprint it on
touch on
anything.
that just
All of my jewelry has frequencies imprinted into it. Um, yeah, I make and sell frequency cards. So these all have frequencies imprinted into them and send them out to people so they can be, you know, like this one is an abundance one.
cool.
So it has about 120 different abundance frequencies and playlists imprinted into this card. Um,
I want to get one.
okay. I
Look in
had
the
and
calendar. I'll get one
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So, and I had one during the holidays that I did that was just it had a whole bunch of stuff in it, and I sent it, and one of the people that got it posted or commented on my thing the other day saying that it arrived and one of her co-workers needed it more than she did, so she like right then, so she handed it to her. I was like, you can get it back, but I can make her another one. But
How
yeah,
long
no,
does it last
you
with
can
the
put frequencies. What?
how long does it last with them
In that
in
in this,
yeah.
I have them set so that they'll last indefinitely. Um,
Oh, I love that. See,
yeah.
I'm so grateful that I seen your post this morning and I asked if you were available to do a Zoom. I'm sorry, I just kind of like stuck it on you, but like, hey, do you mind if we
No,
live? But magic
awesome.
happens when we're in alignment and we just go with it, go with the
Yeah,
flow. Oh,
absolutely. That's what's the cool thing about all this, right? Like you can use it as big as your mind can think. You can do all the things with it.
right.
I imprint my water, I imprint everything. Um,
Like you can imprint
you
your
know,
food before you eat it to make you
yep,
feel better, skinnier,
yep.
whatever you want.
Supplements that you take, you can imprint them to boost what you're getting from them. Um, Yeah, and another piece that I really love in there in the scanner is that you can scan your body and it'll tell you if you put your supplements in, it'll tell you which ones your body actually needs and which ones you
Right.
don't. Because so many of us, I don't know about you, but I know me, I have a whole slew over there, a big, huge thing of all the different supplements. My body doesn't need that many. Some days my
Right.
body doesn't need any of them. Some days my body just needs the homeopathics that I make myself, right? I make my own custom homeopathics all through the scanner. And so I can make exactly what my body needs
That's
in the moment.
yeah, that's really cool. So like there's a lot of people that are energy workers and things like that too that may actually be interested in what does that mean when you make your own custom homeopathics. I'm actually working with a couple different products and different companies right now, so that this might actually be of interest as well.
Yeah.
So could we just
Yeah.
touch a little bit on it, and then I would like to, obviously keep it quite short, but we could talk about the two devices, the one that's over your head right now that people are probably wondering what that is.
Yep. Yeah, so homeopathic. So in that Cephi list, first of all, they have hundreds of homeopathic frequencies already in there that if you know what if you know your homeopathics, you can take any of those and you can imprint them. So I buy this is a big jar of it, and then you can also get the little glass jars. They're just sugar pellets in here, right? The homeopathic blank blank sugar pellets, just like you would get if you order a bottle of homeopathics off of Amazon or wherever you get your homeopathics from, right? So these are just the sugar pellets. You see, I don't know if you can see that. You see
Oh yeah.
that? They're just the little sugar pellets, right? And so if you go into the Cephi section, so under the homeopathic section, if you know what you're doing, you can either search and just find the homeopathic that you want, or you can search by symptom, right?
Yep.
And then or you can imprint any of that stuff. You just drop them in, like I keep a little shot glass here. Solex has their shot glasses, right? And you just put the pellets in, and then erase any frequency that it might have picked up, because it's picking up frequencies sitting right there, whatever. You erase it, and then you imprint onto it whatever frequencies you want. So when I create homeopathics, if it's something like I have homeopathic remedies for my cough, right? And I can put that in, but I can also imprint not just the whatever it needs as in the homeopathics, but I can imprint love in and gratitude and forgiveness and all
Cool.
the other things, because that's important too, right? If you aren't tacking that energy into it, it's not going to work as well. I can promise you that. And so I can make all the custom homeopathics. I also have the database, I don't know if phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 open, so it can scan on a deeper level exactly what your body needs. And it tells you exactly which homeopathics it needs, and you can imprint them onto, whether it's
Wow.
onto sugar pellets, into water, onto jewelry, whatever it is.
My mind is just going a million miles a minute. Like, you
So
guys,
this,
we just met today. Just so you know, this is our first conversation. We're Facebook friends, but we have never met. So this
yep,
is like a wicked conversation to have on our first meeting. Like, I'm just thinking of like
this,
20 other things that I can do.
this bottle, this is actually homeopathic Ozempic.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Um,
Wow.
so
That's
those
amazing.
frequencies, all the energy
I'm
of,
thinking,
yeah,
I'm
those,
thinking of
those
like,
I can't keep those in stock.
no,
Um,
cool. I'm thinking of
yeah,
things like I can make my own bath salts for my baths and things like that.
absolutely.
Oh my
My
God.
daughter wants to start making frequency candles.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
right, so you can put frequencies into anything, absolutely anything.
This is
Um,
thank you for taking the time to meet with me. This is
you're
literally
welcome.
blowing my mind.
My
I learned
pleasure.
so much with this conversation. So let's talk about the thing that's above your head and what
Yes.
exactly is that thing?
So
Because
this is the AO rain. Um, and so what it does is it produces negative ions. So there are positive and negative ions and all around us, right? The positive ions are come from the EMFs and the Wi-Fi and all the ick, and it causes complete chaos, energetic chaos in our body. Negative ions are created in the world if you've ever, when you go to the beach. Why do you feel so peaceful? Because it's filled with negative ions. Every time the lightning strikes, we actually need lightning because it puts negative ions back into the earth, right? So the negative ions, they come on and they grasp onto those positive ions and help clear it out and settle the body. So
wow.
the rain, it pumps out 90,000 negative ions in a 35 to 40 minute session sitting underneath it. And it's called the rain because when you turn it on, you literally feel like it's like of negative ions. You literally like feel it sort of douse you. And you're not
Wow.
wet, but it feels like like it feels like you're caught in a rainstorm.
Wow, that's
And
so cool.
it's really cool. My whole office, when I have it going, my whole office smells like negative ions. Like you can smell the smell of it. But that's why when you go to the beach or you go out into a forest or you see a waterfall, you feel so peaceful because it's those
Yeah.
negative ions are clearing out that stuff. So that's exactly what this does. Um,
That's
and
me. Like
yeah,
I'm a nature person. I'm a Scorpio, so like I feel more at peace. I actually get more things done and create more ideas when I'm at the river or at the beach. Like I'm planning on moving to somewhere with a nice hot beach very, very soon for my well-being and my health because that's where I feel like better, you know? Like I think we all do when we're out in nature, you're grounding yourself, your feet are on the ground, your feet are in the sand. When you're gardening, things like that, everybody always feels better. We're bombarded with so much different technology and everything all the time. It's good to have that balance, right? Like
yep,
to clear out all of the energies that our bodies are like absorbing on a regular basis. Even the company you keep, their energy is attracting onto you as well. So I mean,
yep,
yes, we're talking about being able to scan yourself and understand what's going on inside your body, but obviously seek medical attention if that's what you need. Of course, we're not making any claims. I got to keep saying that because of everything that's going on. But being able to put the positive energies inside of your body and balance yourself out as well. That's what we're
yep,
talking about here.
yep. I mean, this clears a headache. If anybody in my house has a headache, they come and they sit under the rain. Um, you just feel so much better.
Right.
Um, sleep better if you've been sitting under it, everything. I mean, it feels amazing. Um,
And
yeah,
then you also have another device behind you. Like
I
I've been
do
looking
on,
into getting some grounding sheets or something for
yep,
my pain, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about the mat that you have there
yeah.
because maybe that will be more beneficial for me to use that over getting grounding sheets. And I wanted to ask you your opinion on it.
So I have both.
Okay. Because
I have,
I was thinking of getting both, but I wanted to
yeah,
know if what would be,
yeah.
what would be a price.
I have grounding sheets. I have my mat is, we call the mat the magic mat in my house. It is, so it's a PEMF mat. And it has four different levels of PEMF in it. So, and one of the cool things and what makes it different from any other PEMF mat out there, because there are lots of PEMF mats.
Yes.
First of all, it has all the chakra stones in it, right? So it's lined with all the chakra stones. And then the PEMF is a traveling PEMF.
Mm.
So most of them, they put the PEMF frequency in and it just sits there. So when you lay on it and you turn it on, after you've used it once or twice, your body knows exactly what to expect, and you stop getting good results from it. The PEMF is always moving. So your body never knows where it's going to feel the signal from it. And so it keeps your body guessing, which means it always works just as well every time you use it. And I'll tell
Cool.
you, I've got this awful whatever, I don't, cold. And last Saturday night, I was in bed and I was tossing and turning and couldn't fall asleep. And I got up and I came in here and turned on my mat and I laid down and I turned it on to the red. There's four different colors. So I turned it on to the red pen because I muscle tested which one my body needed. And in under 5 minutes, like I was no more coughing and out, like sound asleep. And so I slept in here, I slept and in the middle of the night though, because the PEMF only stays on for however many hours, and then it turns itself automatically off. And I wake up and I start coughing and I look over and I was like, oh, the PEMF's off. And I turned it back on, went right back to sleep. Totally settled me again, went right back to sleep. And then 2 nights ago again, so that was Saturday night. Sunday night I slept in my room, and then Monday night I was again tossing and turning, same thing, and got up in the middle of the night and came in here and turned it right back onto the red and out,
Mm.
down to
Oh, I
sleep.
think I need
So
that.
I do have grounding sheets. I love my grounding sheets, and we actually had originally we just had like it's a narrow one that goes across the center of your bed. And I just switched it over to the full bed sheet and a couple of days ago. And my husband actually said to me this morning, he was like, this new sheet, he's like, I haven't slept he's like, I've slept better the last 2 nights than I have in I don't know how long since,
Yeah.
since we
See,
switched over.
I struggle with tossing and turning a lot
Yeah.
in my sleep, and then I wake up on my shoulder, which is where I still have the blood clot on the one side.
right,
And so I get extreme headaches, and then I just wake up and I feel horrible. Every
yeah,
day I feel exhausted. I'm like, I don't know if I'm running a marathon in my sleep, if I'm tossing and turning, but I can only literally sleep on one direction because of my spinal injury and my pain.
right.
So I always wake up on the opposite side of the one that I'm supposed to be on. So that's why I was going to ask
Right,
you. Obviously, I'm going to get the PAMF and the rain, but maybe you could also shoot me the link of the mats, the sheets that you got as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I love my grounding
One
sheets.
day
I have them
too.
on everybody's beds.
Yeah.
I bit the bullet. First I got it just for us, and then I bit the bullet and got them for all my kids and everything once I saw what a difference it makes. The infinity wand also would help that for you.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, the
yeah,
problem is sometimes I don't have somebody to do it, help do it on me. So I
right.
would need to like I would need to have something that I don't need assistance
Stand.
doing
Well, so
it.
they have the stand that it fits into the.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I was doing some before I was doing some type of a laser treatment, which I think it's kind of similar to the infinity wand and the lasers
Yep,
and stuff. I was going actually for treatments, but it was like they wanted me to go 4 times a week and it was $175 a pop. And I
right,
just physically can't do that. And financially, a lot of people are looking for alternative treatments like this, but they just can't afford them.
right.
And that's what I love about Solex. And I wanted to give it back to them and the credit to the company for everything that they've done and that they continue to do for us, because they just like every time I'm on a call, something amazing is happening, something new is coming out. And
Yep,
that's why I really wanted to do this call, because so many people are looking for answers for their health right now, especially with
yep,
everything that's going on in the world. I'll just say that. We all know what's going on. Everybody, a lot of people have seen my video, but I really wanted you to understand that I've been on this personal health journey. And when I find certain things like Solex, that's why I want to bring on people that have used it for a longer period of time, and to give your examples and your testimonials and the things that you use it for in your daily life with your children, with your practice, because, you know, just the other testing that I did is not available to everybody around the world. This is.
right. Yep, exactly. This is absolutely available to everybody. This
And
can
it's the
change
same
everybody's life.
technology, is it not?
Yep. Pretty similar. I mean, I don't know
Right.
exactly what she used, but so yeah, I mean, if not the same, it's similar. Um, and this is so powerful, and you have the tool to everybody has the ability to get this in their hands. One of the things that I love so much about Solex and I respect so highly is they've got made several commitments. One, the price of the software will never go above the 149 USD ever, no matter what they continue to add to it. They will not, they want to make this something that everybody can figure out a way to make it, get it in their hands and be able to use it, right? So that price on that will never go up. And any product that they release, like the rain, like the wand, like the mat, all of those things, they will only bring on a new product if they can do it better and cheaper than anything else that's out on the
Right.
market. If
Well,
they
I was
if there's something out on the market
right.
and they can't and it's already doing it the best that can be done and at the most economical price, Solex isn't going to touch it. They're going to say to you, go use their product because there's a
Right.
lot of really good things out there. But if we can do it, we being Solex, right? Not me, but if they're saying if we can do this better and cheaper, then we're going to do it. I will tell you. So they just came out with they had an essential oils thing that they came out with during the holidays. And I am a big essential oils person. Love them, have been using essential oils for the last 20 years. And I got their set, and I'm pretty loyal to the brand that I generally use. And I've muscle tested, like I'll put theirs behind my back and the other brand that I use and put them behind my back and or have my kids put them behind their back and I'll muscle test. And every time my body picks the Solex one
Mhm.
because it's got the Cybin in it, because it's got the nanotechnology. So
Right.
they really did take it and they did it better. And the other stuff that I use is good stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, see, I
you
was
know,
looking in to get a pencil machine, but I honestly can't afford it. It's like almost
right.
like 10 grand. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's not accessible to the average person, especially somebody that's dealing with health issues. Let's be real.
Right.
If they're not working, if they're struggling, financially or whatever, that's why I'm so grateful to this company and all of the products that they have and everything that they do. Because like even somebody like myself that's on limited income can actually order the products, and that like I just love this. Like anybody that has not even seen this or, got on a call with me to learn about this amazing technology and what it can do for you, I highly recommend to book a call or jump on our call later on this evening. And, just kind of happened that we were doing both calls on the same day, but I'm grateful for you and your time, Lesley. Like it's been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much. Like I learned I've been taking notes. Like that's why I was like, oh, sorry, just 1 second. I'm literally writing out notes. So, I know what my next steps are for me and my health and what other tools that I can utilize and order through Solex to help me and my body heal because you everybody's body is different and I'm going to just lead off with that. Like everybody's body's different. What you're experiencing with your health and your well-being is going to be unique and individual to you. But with this tool, you can actually check in on yourself, on your own health. And you can also help your friends and family with it as well. And that's what I love. You don't even have to own a business to have this device to utilize it and, scan your family, scan your friends. I scanned my friend's dog the other day because it's having a really bad allergic reaction. Found out that it's allergic to chicken and turkey. What do you think it ate on Christmas?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Yep.
there's certain things that we can do even with pets that's like just incredible. It's mind blowing. And we could talk forever and I want to keep this quite short so other people, will be able to get through this whole meeting. But thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I mean, I can't wait one day maybe I'll come and visit you in Florida. I've always wanted to go to Disney, so that's just adds another thing to the bucket list.
Love to have you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything. I'm gonna figure out how to upload this to YouTube as well. So I'll make sure to also send you a copy
Okay.
that you can share amongst your friends, family, and your team as well. And I just want to say thank you for being taking a stand for humanity in the world and for, who you are. I just wanted to just say thank you. I'm just gonna get emotional, but I'm just grateful to meet you.
Yeah, it was great to meet you. Thank you for having me on. Thanks for asking, if I'd come
Awesome.
on and do this live. So
Yeah, awesome. We'll have to do a new one for specifically for how you use it on your kids, but that'll be a whole nother conversation.
absolutely.
I'll have
Anytime.
Stephanie do the interview because she is a mom. I'm not yet. So awesome. Have a great day. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody that's got on and watched this video. Again, if you want to learn more, we're actually giving away a free body scan tonight on our 7 o'clock call. So I'll make
Cool.
sure to post the link in there if you guys want to jump onto the call. We're actually going to do a couple examples live and kind of take a deep dive into the homeopathics and all the Cephi stuff that she was talking about. I'm going to actually open up the back office so you can kind of see stuff. And then we're going to actually, at the end of the call, whoever has the most guests, we're actually giving away a free scan, a body scan, a complete full scan. So it's going to be a really
Cool.
fun night. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to meet with me. This has been
My
awesome.
pleasure.
I'm super excited. I'm going to actually go log into the back office and see what else I can get right now. Gonna make a goals list, a wish list.
There you go. That's perfect. Make that wish
Awesome.
list.
Awesome. Thank you, girl. Have a great day. Thank you for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Okay,
My
bye.
pleasure. Bye.